Welcome to Embrace the Spiritual Podcast. Join friends Michelle and Dawn as they share tips on how you too can open your heart, raise your vibration, and reclaim your sovereignty. Hear what they have experienced and overcome in their spiritual journeys while navigating this expansive spiritual multiverse. Discover how they transform their soul lessons from ordinary into extraordinary.
Follow, subscribe, and share Embrace the Spiritual Podcast on all streaming services, including YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Go to embracethespiritual.com for bonus content and a list of upcoming episodes. To book an aura regression, raw Reiki, or Akashic reading with Dawn, visit her website, alchemy-sacredsound.com. To book a quantum Akashic reading, quantum Reiki healing, pet Reiki, or a home and land clearing, visit Michelle on her website at energeticembrace.com.
Welcome back to rock-hounding. We are here with our beautiful special guest, Maria. She's going to talk all about how you do it, where you go. Is this a rock? Is it a crystal? What am I looking at? I have no clue what I just picked up. And many other tales of how she got started. So take it away, Maria.
Hello, my name is Maria, and it's such an honor to be here with you, beautiful ladies. And I currently live in Oklahoma, and my love for crystals started around 2012. A friend of mine was told that she needed a piece of amethyst for protection. And I started researching what other crystals I could wear and what metaphysical and healing properties they had. And one time on our travels, my husband stopped at Quartzsite, and I was so amazed at all the different minerals, colors, shapes, and I was in love. I didn't really realize he actually liked rocks himself, and he wouldn't waste an opportunity to pick up a rock for the garden on our trips. We moved from California to Oklahoma, and I found there was a local rock club, and I started learning more about the rocks, and I was introduced to the Arkansas clear quartz. And it took me a few weeks to convince my husband to go, and now he wants to go every weekend.
That's awesome that he wants to go rock hounding with you, because, that's where Dawn and I first met Maria in person, is in Arkansas. And sadly, we didn't make enough time, Dawn and I, to stop and do any kind of crystal hunting and whatnot in Arkansas. So thankfully, we have a friend like Maria who loves to do it, who is amazing at it. And you'll notice that we didn't actually say that this episode was rock hounding, because we called it crystal dowsing, because Maria truly has a talent. It's like water dowsing, right? And anybody can go into a mine and, find a few pieces. But I tell you, at these retreats that we've seen Maria at, she will drive, because she literally has boxes and boxes. And we're not talking the small little crystals that just fit in your hand. We are talking massive pieces. And it's amazing, like the quality of what you're finding. Like you are intuitively finding these crystals. So, a great start, like you said, kind of joining a rock hounding club, because that's kind of the easiest way, I think, for people to find it. But really, it's crystals that you're searching out. But when you go into a place, do you feel like the crystals are talking to you? Do you kind of intuitively know where to go in a location to find crystals? Like, what's your process when you get there? And do you just kind of intuitively walk around and how do you find these gems?
It's funny because sometimes we have to drive a couple hours to get to the location, and we have to stay at a hotel or Airbnb or anything. And I close my eyes and all I see are huge clusters of crystals, and I dream about them. So I'm like, okay, show me where you are. And we get to the place, and I just walk around and start turning them over, and I wonder what's here, or I wonder what's there. And yeah, that's how I find them.
I don't know about you. I don't have the same crystal dreams. Dawn, do you?
Yeah, I wish. Mine are more, I don't know, weird. So, Maria, when you go to a place, are these usually mines? Do you look at maps and look for? I looked at maps and I can't remember what they're called. It's not like geocaching. It's where you can find different gems in different areas. Is that what you do? Like, what? Tell us what your process is. I know you and your husband. Do you pick? Does he pick? Is it 50-50?
We look around for places where you can dig. It's usually commercial mines where you can collect your crystals for a fee. And some mines, for liability reasons, no longer allow you to dig on your own. Rather, they dig it for you and provide it in buckets, bags, or tailing piles where you search through and find the crystals.
And so when you do have the opportunity to go to a place where you get to dig yourself, like what tools do you take? So if somebody wants to go do this and they find a mine that they get to go search themselves, what are some do's and don'ts that you would recommend for people?
You can Google on the place you're planning on going, and some places allow you to use certain equipment, and some provide buckets or anything like that. But you can Google and see what you expect to find. And the first thing that I would recommend is gloves, because I learned the hard way how sharp they can get. So gloves, safety glasses, a handheld cultivator, and if you need to break big rocks, you can take different size chisels. And I recommend the ones with the hand protectors, and also a pry bar, sledgehammer, screwdrivers, and egg cartons, newspaper to protect your crystals. And we save where the oranges come, those bags, and you just throw in the crystals and the dirt comes out. Yeah, so it's a lot easier.
Do you wash your crystals in those orange bags, or do you just rustle them around in the orange bags?
Some mines have a little a wash station, so you can just wash all the excess dirt and mud and do the rest of the washing at your home.
Like, I'm sure there's special techniques when you're, especially because you collect such big pieces, to clean off sediment or stuff. Like you see these videos of, like almost not quite as pressure washer, but what are your special techniques? Because you get these are raw crystals, right? They're not what you see in the stores, which is a good thing, but you want to clean them up. So how do you do that?
We rinse as much as the dirt that we can, and sometimes we lay them on the sun so that the dirt can dry and shrink, and then we rinse them again. And when they have a lot of the iron stains, we leave them in a oxalic acid bath and just leave them for as long as for a couple of days, until they are like the way you want them to look.
Now, where can you get that? Is that the same as it's a green container? I bought it. I can't remember if it's like the rust stuff that you use for your drains. Is it that, or do you actually buy the oxalic acid?
The oxalic acid, we buy it at the mine, and there's some shops around there that have it. But you can also use the iron out, and some cleaning solutions that remove the iron and rust.
And when you use this, make sure you are wearing masks because it is highly corrosive. You can screw up your mucous membranes. I've seen a guy doing it on a video outside. If the wind is blowing in your face, you will get it up there. So please do not, think that this is a easy thing. It's not. The stuff that I bought is a fine powder. It's not crystals, so it's very light and it can be blown in your face. We just want to make sure that our listeners who decide to do this on their own are safe at all times.
Yes, definitely wear goggles and the mask and do it in a well-ventilated area.
Now, when you first start, I think you were saying before we started the episode that there's plenty of websites out there about, we'll say rock-hounding, because that's kind of the most widely used word. What are some of the websites that you go to look for? Because you're in the States, but what are some of the websites that you use to find these places to go looking?
So I look on rock and mineral clubs in the United States, and I think you can also look in the Rocky Mountain Gem and Mineral Society, and you can find the local rock clubs or clubs that are, if you're planning on doing a trip, you can find local clubs to the area you're planning on visiting.
And we'll throw that link on our website as well so that our listeners can go searching. And in the meantime, I will look for a Canadian equivalent, but I'm sure if you could just search rock-hounding in Canada, then we can find that. But I'll find that link and we'll make sure and put all of the links that Maria is talking about on our website so that you too can rock-hound.
I also find this book called Treasure Hunters, Gems and Minerals Guide. And it's divided into 4 volumes with the Northwest states, Southwest states, and Southeast states, and Northeast states. And that book, it's good for rock hounds, gold prospectors, gem collectors, gemologists, or if you just want to plan a fun rock collecting vacation with your family. And it tells you on mines where you can dig for a find, or museums that you can find where you can see whatever rocks are available in that area. And also it has a guide on tools and tips on how to find them.
Great. We'll definitely put a link for that book as well on our website. And what a great idea to take kids. You know, so many times we want to take kids maybe to a beach vacation, or, you know, camping is great. Camping's a great way to go to all these different places and get them to see different parts of where you live, whether it's Canada, US, across the world. These crystals come from everywhere. And like Maria said, certain crystals are known to be in certain areas. So maybe you are looking for a particular crystal or gem or mineral that, you know, only comes in certain locations. So what a great idea. I mean, summer's off with kids. If you've got the opportunity to go camping and rock hounding, you know, I don't know, maybe we should see if Maria can start guiding and, you know, have a little business and take people rock hounding. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be fun. And also at the dig sites, you meet all kinds of people from other states, and you can also find out places where they go digging and the stuff that you can find in other states.
So do you have some special websites that you look at for finding the meaning of the different crystals, or is it in that book, that Treasure Hunters book, like kind of those, you know, what we would call spiritual properties of crystals?
So usually when I'm at a rock shop or anything, I just Google real quick to see what properties the crystals have. At home, I have the book of Stones by Robert Simmons.
So is it primarily crystals that you're going for? Because I know rock hunting in general can be so much, like crystals is one aspect. Is that primarily what you guys look for, is crystals?
Mainly, yes. I like also the different specimens, the ones that have all kinds of inclusions, and it has like 3 or 4 minerals in one.
What is your favorite mine that you go to? And how many mines have you been to, I guess, since you started?
I've been to around 4 or 5 mines, and mainly it's in Arkansas. And I think my favorite mine, it's the Phantom mine with the Wagner mine. Like it's like a certain, yeah. And to go there, you need to call and see if there's a trip going, because it's like a 1 hour. They take you like in a safari truck, and there's like a limited amount of people they can take. So you need to call ahead of time to see if they have a trip going. And I've also been to the event mine. Yeah. And on that one, I like that you can just park your truck right next to where you're going to be looking. So if you have your ice chest, because it gets really hot during the summer, you can just go to your truck and start loading your finds or get hydrated.
So these mines, are they pretty remote then? Because you did say you had to take a safari truck out. Does that mean no facilities, no shade? Like give us for somebody who has a super newbie and never even heard of this, tell us more like what to expect.
So for those 2 mines, they have a bathroom at the the shop, and from there they take you to the mine. It's a little bit of a rough drive, and they only have porta parties and no shade. You just the trees.
So are you kind of taking like a backpack in with, waters, and I guess if you have room for an umbrella, but kind of hard to hold an umbrella and be handling rocks. So definitely hats and, good shoes, make sure you're walking on uneven surfaces. Do you take a magnifying glass or anything? Like what else do you need? Because I can see these being, like Dawn was kind of asking, is you have to be selective with kind of what you take there, but you want to be protected as well. So
we mainly take a small ice chest for our water, definitely a hat, and buckets to start putting your crystals. Yeah, that's dirty shoes.
And a whole bunch of patience, I imagine. Right? Because you are flipping over a lot of rocks, because what you see on the surface could just be the backside of a piece of agate or something, right? So you're going there for the day. You're not going there for an hour. Well, you could go there for an hour, I guess, but you are there looking for these gems. So I want to ask specifically about the pieces. So we just recently saw Maria in South Carolina and got these amazing, like these massive fluorite chunks I'm looking at, because they're both sitting on my desk. So like, you didn't have small pieces. You had large pieces of this fluorite. Did you find that all in one place, or was this a collection, fluorite in particular? So fluorite, if you're not familiar with it, has kind of the blues and greens and a whole bunch of different colors. It can have purples, and it kind of reminds me of the ocean. So it was fitting that we were in the ocean, beside the ocean, when we saw her. But did you get all of these at one specific place?
Those we didn't actually mine ourselves. We got those. They were brought from Mexico.
Oh, right. Those
Yes.
are the Mexico. Pays to have friends in places. That's the other thing. Yeah, those were beautiful pieces. And have you gone down to Mexico to do rock-hounding, crystal dowsing?
No, I have not, but they have some beautiful, beautiful crystals down there. They have the huge selenite cave that I would love to go.
I think we need a girls' road trip, maybe. That's what I'm hearing. So just know, like, even if you're on vacation somewhere, search those areas, because you wouldn't necessarily equate Mexico with finding a whole bunch of crystals, right? We kind of have in our heads where a lot of these crystals are residing, but what a great place. Most, especially a lot of Canadians and a lot of Americans go down to Mexico for vacation. So look up. Do you remember which mine in particular these ones came from?
If I'm not mistaken, I think they came from the Santa Eulalia mine in Chihuahua. Yes. And they also have some beautiful cretite with rainbow fluorite.
That would be beautiful.
So I know you mainly focused on quartz crystals, but you also showed me some rose quartz. Did you mine those yourselves, or did they come from Mexico as well?
No, those we purchased from a shop in Arizona.
So did they actually come from a mine in Arizona, or did they import them? Because I know, like, once you have a crystal mine, sometimes they swap out so that they can get more people in and more inventory going.
I would think they imported them, but I couldn't see for sure from where.
I just know I was looking at a mine that you sent me, and I can't remember the name, but it had like these beautiful crystals, but it said like, oh, this is from here, this is from there. And it was actually like, they had some pretty tall amethyst. I would call it a geode, but it's more than like those 3-foot tall geodes. They were beautiful. And it was like $500. I'm like, that is reasonable. And I wish I could remember the name, because I thought I want to go take a trip, but not on my current plan this year. But I know there's so many amazing places that you can look. And I will be going to Herkimer Diamond Mine this month. And I'm hoping that whatever woo-woo that you have going on will rub off on me, because I plan on finding a lot.
Maria, do you get physical sensations in your body when you get close to the crystals? Like, you're very intuitive, and I know you're kind of being modest about how intuitive you are, because, to find some of these pieces takes a lot of work. I mean, if you're literally, you could just flip over 1,000 stones and not find anything, but you get physical sensations in your body too. Like, what happens?
I just feel like I wonder what that looks like on the other side, and I turn it over, and it's a big point. And it's funny because our last trip, we had all started at a certain spot, and I went around and went over an area where everybody had already been to, and I found the biggest point there.
So don't discount that, people, when you're out searching for these things. If you're being drawn to an area, like Maria said, even lots of people had already been through, doesn't mean there's not a gem for you to find, because maybe it was hiding and waiting for you to find it. You never know. So, talk to the crystals. They have an energy and a consciousness. We've talked about this in past episodes, that say, hey, I'd really love to find some new crystals and help draw me to you, whatever. You can start talking to them in your dreams, and know that you will find something, but you got to put it out there that you're looking and you want to find something, and you would love to bring home some nice pieces. So don't be afraid to talk to them. You know what? Nobody has to hear you. You could talk in your vehicle on the way there, or in your mind. It's still all energy. And you know what? Kind of heard or seen things online where people get almost offended that we're taking these crystals out of their homes, right? Like when they hear about people mining crystals. And I want to kind of dispel that myth, I guess, because yes, we're taking them out of their natural environment, I guess. But crystals want to help us as well, right? They want to help us. They wanted to come to this earth for a purpose as well, right? They didn't want to just be hidden. Now, granted, there are some crystals that are hidden for bigger purposes for the collective that aren't meant to be found. But we're talking about the ones that, have these amazing healing properties, that if they can come into someone's home and provide that benefit, that's helping the collective raise their vibration as well. It's helping clear energy. It's helping bring in new energy, whether you're manifesting. Yeah, I'm so sad I'm missing the Herkimer diamond. It didn't work out timing wise to go there with Dawn and one of our other friends, but next time. And I think Maria will need a trip up too. I don't know. We'll just all follow behind Maria and her intuition finding the crystals. Oh. So my point is, Maria clearly has a gift, and that's why we called it dowsing, because it really is. It's using your intuitive body to search for the crystals, whether you use like a muscle testing, right? You're standing up. Are there crystals that are meant for me? And your body goes forward. Yes. Or if your body goes back, no, maybe that's not the right location if you're not trusting your intuition. So definitely use that as one of your tools in your toolkit when you go rock hounding or crystal dowsing, whatever you want to do.
And just like we have missions here, these crystals are meant to connect with us. You start talking to them. I do a lot of online buying. And even when I go to the shops, there's just you are drawn to a certain crystal because it's meant to be in your life. It is meant to work with you. So don't discount, I know there are some aggressive ways that people mine them, but there's also very natural and beautiful ways that you can honor the earth, honor the crystal, and connect. And I know that you can't make it, but I've been talking to the crystals, be like, if there's special crystals out there for my friends, please let me find you. And yeah, just go with the flow when you are going to go mining, because who knows what you will find.
And I just want to add to that, like everything, give gratitude. Give thanks back to the crystal for being part of your life. Give thanks to the earth for being a safe container for that crystal while it was waiting for you to find it. So with everything, give thanks and to the space that you're in. And as always, when you're going, we shouldn't have to say, but make sure you're cleaning up after yourself and all those fun stuffs, because it is still a natural environment that you're going into. It's not your home. It's, Gaia's home that she is opening up to share her wealth with us. So I think the $1 million question is, are you selling what you find, Maria?
Yes, I started selling on our local rock rock clubs make events. It's a rock swap, and it's just for rock hounds to sell, trade, or just show off their finds. It's funny because I feel like when I find stuff that I feel like a connection to, like I feel it, but then I feel like I'm a stork bringing the crystals to their new families, to whoever can't, for whatever reason, go mine them themselves. And I'm in the process of also creating an Etsy.
Yay! Well, as soon as we have those Etsy details, we are definitely going to post those on our website. And if you're blessed enough to have an own, so to speak, a crystal that Maria has come across, even if those crystals from Mexico, like you are the conduit, right? So you are still energetically finding good homes for those crystals. And I love that. So we will definitely keep that posted on our website as soon as you have those Etsy details, because I tell you, my mind was blown when I saw the boxes of things that you have. And I still have my rose quartz pieces from Arkansas that you gifted all of us. So it was very generous. And yeah, it's beautiful. So we'll definitely post that. Any other questions that you have, Dawn, for Maria while we have her here?
What's your favorite piece that you found that you absolutely love?
It's a big chunk of clear. Actually, I think it's a milky quartz that it's in my nightstand next to me, and it just reminds me. It looks like a heart.
And where did you find that one at?
I found that one at the Wagner mine.
Beautiful. I love it. And I'm sure it gives you lots of wonderful energy since it's next to your bedside.
Yes, it's so funny how I wish I could just have them all in my bedroom and sleep with all of them.
Husband has to sleep in the spare room because all your crystals take up too much room.
Don't forget, there's always space under the bed.
That is true. Actually, why don't we talk about that? Because, I mean, my current bed situation, I can't put them under my bed, but that's a really good place to get the energy of that crystal while you're sleeping. And, be careful, make sure you look up the properties of the crystal so that you're not giving yourself energy at night and then you can't sleep. But what are some of the favorite crystals other than that piece that you have that you use in your bedroom for sleep?
I have a big rose quartz, and it's funny you mentioned that because I purchased a big obsidian sphere, and the energy was so strong that I could not sleep at night.
Well, that's interesting, because don't they clear? Like maybe it was just like wiping your slate clean every night and you're just like, like, oh my God, I guess I had more dirty energy than I thought.
Yes, the clearing was intense.
It was working on every lifetime of yours, not just this one.
Do you have specific crystals, Maria, that you put in specific parts of the house? And what is it that it does in that part of the house? Because I think that's where people aren't really sure of, you can Google it, but you're a crystal intuitive, and I'd love to find out what you do around the house.
So I place shungite by the router to absorb the M's, and I put the bigger crystals around the whole house, kind of like for protection in all the windows. And in the center of the house, I tend to place crystals that have like the loving energy.
So kind of like rose quartz and the green. Yes. What is it? Some of the green crystals that are good for the heart as well.
There's, I think, labradorite.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yes. And I also have a big chunk of the rainbow fluorite that has a lot of green.
So you put that kind of in the center of your home, like the love area.
Yes.
I just love mine sitting on my desk so much. I don't know if I want to share it. I guess I need another piece to put in the center of my home.
Now, when you said you put them, the big ones on, do you put them on the outside or in the corners of your house? Can you tell more about that?
They're in the outside. Yeah, pretty much around the whole house.
Did you create a circle or a grid? So I'm assuming 4 corners, or do you do like the middle of the house too?
Well, I have them in the 4 corners, and I also have them like around the trees.
Is there a specific type that you use around trees? Is that to help them for their growth?
It's mainly the clear quartz. Mm-hmm.
And what crystals do you have at your four corners of your property? Do you have them more as clearing crystals? What kind do you use?
They're also the clear quartz, but they're the bigger pieces.
And when you work with your crystals, do you set an intention with them before you place them in different areas? Or like, how do you work with the crystals? Because you get them home and obviously you cleanse them. So besides cleaning them from mining, what's your process for kind of clearing a crystal? And do you set intentions with them? What does that look like?
So I leave them in the backyard for a couple of days, so they're in the sun and rain so they can clear, and just ask them to protect.
That's important, right? That's setting an intent. I love that.
And I know you also meditate with crystals. Do you have a specific, or do you just meditate with them all and rotate them? So I'm sure it's like over 365 days worth of crystals worth of meditations, right?
So I usually have selenite and an obsidian, a black obsidian sphere, and on the rest I rotate or ask in my dreams to connect to a certain crystal.
I love that.
You don't want the other ones feeling left out, right? They're going, what about me? It's tough not to have favorites, but I definitely find that as well, where one piece might really stand out for a while. Like maybe that's something I need at that time. And I don't know about most people, but half the time I go in maybe to a store, I don't ever really look for a specific crystal. I usually feel like, oh, this one's really cool, wants to come home with me. And I get home and look up the properties and go, oh yeah, okay, well that makes sense why I wanted to come home, because it's something that I'm looking for at that time. So, and if you don't have a chance to get out and rock hound on your own, I know Arizona in particular, like you're in Oklahoma, but I know Arizona has many huge rock and gem shows where you can get a lot of really great raw pieces as well. So I know that my mom and dad winter down in Arizona, and it's maybe a 30-minute drive to Quartzsite, Arizona. So I usually go to one of the big Gem World stores down there and find a lot of great pieces if you're not able to get to one of the places rock hunting. But I would encourage you to, like Maria said, make a vacation around rock hunting. Give it a try. Even if it's a place that, one of the ones that Maria described where they'll bring, kind of a pile to you so it's not as overwhelming. Great place to take kids and, hey, this is our pile to go through, and make sure if you're flying, maybe take an extra suitcase, because I know I've done that. I've had to, take them in my carry-on, and it's pretty heavy, because I know when I got these pieces from Maria in South Carolina, I was juggling some luggage to be able to make it work to get them home. But didn't matter if I had to buy a new suitcase, I was buying a new suitcase to take those gems home. So I was excited.
Yes, I remember the first time we went mining, we almost brought home a truckload. We did not want to leave any babies behind.
It is tough because they're all beautiful, right? You have all these awesome finds. So I look forward to what your online store is going to entail for options. I'm just saying. I can't think if I have any other questions. Do you have anything else you want to share, Maria?
So some tips that I can give is learn what gems or minerals can be found at the mine you are going to visit. You can look at YouTube videos and see what you can expect to find, and also look at how the minerals look in the rough. And you can visit local rock shops, museums, and you can get a better idea. And you can check with the dig site if handicapped accessible, as well if they are having any special events or digs. So one example is with the recent eclipse, everyone had different events. Some offered camping, and some offered meals, and some were enriching the dig area with higher quality crystals, of course, for a higher price. And we ended up not going that weekend because of how high the prices were.
Those are great tips, because if you don't know what to expect to find, you could flip over something and just think it's some weird rock, and it could be this rare crystal or something. So I don't know about you, half the time I buy stuff and I don't even remember what kind of crystal I have, but I really liked it. And so it's very true. Like there's some that are maybe shinier than others. And you're right. When you look at them in the raw versus a polished piece that you might purchase at a crystal shop, it will look different. So thanks for those tips. That's really, really good. And yeah, if you want to take advantage of solstice or eclipses and stuff, that might be a good way to make a vacation out of it. So thank you for that. Dawn, do you have any other questions?
The only thing I could think of is when she mentioned, take a look at the crystals. I'm following this girl on Instagram, and she finds sapphires, emeralds, and I think they're like the corundum family, and how usually they're dirty, so they look like regular, but they're like not octagon, so dodecahedron, like they have like the multiple sides, and they're very, they look like, if you play D&D, they look like D&D dice. So when you go for nature walks and you're by, she's in North Carolina, and she finds like tons of them. Take a look, does something look out of the ordinary? You could be looking at, or even red jasper. I guess a lot of red jasper is in certain areas. And this woman was like, found this like 20 pound, and she's like, I need to carry it back to my car. But she's like, it's so heavy. So, when you go out into nature and on trails, look to see what is there, because you never know what you're going to find. It's like, where's Waldo? But where's that crystal?
I know my grandma always, everywhere we went, she was always picking up these really cool, rocks. And, at the time I was little, probably less was known about crystals. And she had this whole stockpile. She even found arrowheads, that dated back hundreds and hundreds of years. So you never know. Like so many times we're just looking ahead of us, but sometimes we need to look down, right? Enjoy, slow down, take in the moment, have that kid-like enthusiasm of searching through rocks, because you never know what you're going to find.
Yes, and also if you see any digging in your area, don't be afraid to stop and ask. There's this guy that recently found a lot of selenite from a new road that they were building.
I would have never thought of that. That's a great idea. So what, do you have wow, that's a cool idea. Yeah, can I dig through your dirt pile? Because you're right, like with all of the changes of Earth over time, I mean, you think about how many buildings are being discovered, from mud floods and stuff like that. You never know what's below the ground. And yeah, what a great idea. Any final thoughts, Maria, that you can share with your intuitive crystal finding?
I think just have fun and enjoy.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming on and being our first guest in May. We started back up after a much needed break that Dawn and I took in the month of April. And we're so excited that you were able to join and share some of that wisdom of something I think that's been around for a while and is kind of coming up as something new to do. It's not new, but it is a lot of fun. I can't wait till the next time I get to go. Or the first time, should I say. And I know in Canada, one of the places that I did get to go in the late 90s, so I'm dating myself a little bit, is there's a big amethyst mine in Ontario. And we were driving across country as family. We were going to a family reunion. And I remember stopping, and I think we didn't have time to go in and do some searching. But I remember getting like a little pinky ring with a little amethyst on it, and it was from that mine. So that's something, we have a lot of treasures in our backyard. So just have a look, and happy hunting, happy crystal dowsing.
Yeah, I just want to thank you so much, Maria. Your light is so beautiful. Thank you so much for doing this with us and sharing your knowledge. And I just love you so much.
Oh, Dawn, thank you. It is such an honor to be with you, beautiful ladies. And I can't thank you enough for all the information you provide. Really needed that you can actually understand.
We love you. We thank you. And we look forward to maybe having you on in a future episode. And happy shopping on her upcoming online store. So stay tuned. for that. We'll post it on social media as well once we get that link. So thank you, Maria, and happy crystal dowsing, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
Stay tuned for our next episode on shifting realities. What it is, how to do it. Is it possible? Of course it is.
Follow, subscribe, and share Embrace the Spiritual podcast on all streaming services, including YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Go to embracethespiritual.com for bonus content and a list of upcoming episodes. To book an aura regression, raw Reiki, or Akashic reading with Dawn, visit her website, alchemy-sacredsound.com. To book a quantum Akashic reading, quantum Reiki healing, pet Reiki, or a home and land clearing, visit Michelle on her website at energeticembrace.com.
Infinite love and gratitude. Thank you for joining us.